there's a difference between value and worth. I made a video and I showed where I had some bananas with spots on them, and I was talking about value, that their value had to do with the context, with what the purposefulness of those bananas was. And someone took, they didn't like, their rebuttal to me was that everybody's value, everyone is valuable, period, that our value doesn't depend on our context. Our value is just because we're part of the human race. Okay. Well, what I also had said in there was that our worth wasn't negotiable. Okay. So here's what I mean when I say, when I say that our value is contextual. Okay. If there's a human who is like super genius, brilliant, could like sit in front of something and then figure it all out in 3 seconds and doesn't have social skills, then that person is not valuable as someone who is a caretaker. Right? My beloved has skills of looking at something and seeing where it can all go wrong immediately. And that's great in logistics. That tendency isn't as amazing in having conversations and relationships. You see? Value depends on the context. When we had animals, it was of value to me to pay someone a nice amount of money for them to come and stay at my house, so my animals could stay in their home, so I could have a good sense of, I liked that my animals got to stay home. It was valuable to me to pay that money. My beloved would prefer to pay less money and have them maybe go get kenneled or something. We don't share the same value, right? But he would pay that money, like that amount of money, he would be glad to pay it for bungee jumping, right? I would not. I would not. That's what I mean by value being context driven. So I'm going to start talking a lot about our. Like my brain is so full of boogies, I can't even remember words. I'm hosting a boogie party, my friends. I've got Cootie Fest. Woo! But it's going away soon because it can't help it not. Man, it begins with an I. Our. You know what I mean. I'm going to know what I mean. I'm going to stop this now, and then I'm going to remember it, and I'm going to come back. Identity! Okay, so I'm going to start talking a lot about our identity and where do we get it. And it's easier to believe an identity that someone has handed us that's an absolute lie because we can find proof of it because, well, that person said it and we like that person or we trust that person or we agree with that person. But so anyway, what's your point, Brandy? It could be anything. But also, here's my point. Your worth is never, never up for discussion. It just isn't. And your value isn't up for discussion either. You are highly valuable as a human, but you are not the same amount of valuable in every instance. The context, the things that I grew up with, the stories that I've tortured myself with, They are not valuable in every instance. They are not valuable as a foundation for understanding different things if what I mean to do is create a blueprint for a building, right? But if what I intend to do is help you see that the stories you tell yourself about yourself and the world and who you are and who you're meant to be is probably predicated on a lie handed to you by the world in general, and maybe someone specifically, and maybe even you, that you decided when you were a little person. You see, that's a different value, and it depends on context. All right. I'm madly in love with you. I'm gonna go blow my nose a little bit. And I'm just madly in love with you. And here's what I want you to know. All that stuff you whisper to yourself about how you're not enough and how you're stuck and how it's never going to change, baby, that's just a lie. It really is just a lie. And I say just a lie like it's nothing, and it is nothing, but it's also big, especially when you've anchored yourself into it, when it's the rut you've been walking in. Come hang out with me. Come play in Sturdy Hall. Come to the group calls on Porch Party. The links are in my profile. Hang out with me here on the socials. I'm madly in love with you. I'll talk with you later. Boo.